Hello and welcome to Diabetes Connections in the News. I'm Stacey Sims, and these are the top diabetes stories and headlines of the past 7 days. As always, I am going to link up my sources in the Facebook comments where we are live and in the show notes at diabetes-connections.com when this airs as a podcast, so you can read more if you want, whenever you want. In the News is brought to you by Real Good Foods. Excited to have them back as a sponsor. Real food you feel good about eating. Our top story this week, a couple of interesting nuggets in Tandem Diabetes' recent investor call. The company, they say, has grown at least 40% in nearly every quarter since late 2017 when the first major update came through on the T-Slim X2. They are getting ready to launch Control IQ in Germany and France, and they are moving ahead with studies of this hybrid closed loop system down to age 2. Timing of new features is still a bit up in the air. The company says they answered more FDA asked questions about bolus by phone and feel on track for approval by the end of the year for iOS and Android. T Sport submission will now likely happen in 2022. Like a lot of diabetes tech, COVID pushed those timelines out. One other little tidbit, it looks like there won't be a big user manual with the mobile improvements. The training will be part of the app itself. Seems like common sense, but that's a big change that apparently the FDA asked for. How about a closed loop for people with type 2? New research from the University of Cambridge shows it works just fine. But this was interesting because the idea here was to look at people who require dialysis or a kidney transplant. And this was a different system, a fully closed loop, no meal announcements needed. People using the artificial pancreas system spent more time in range and less time with hypos. This system has an adaptive algorithm. It got better as it went. The average time in range on day 1 was 36%. By the third week, it was 60%. They didn't list much about the technology here, but I am going to follow up because it's not clear why these researchers also aren't studying this completely closed loop for people with type 1. They are moving ahead with a new study in people with type 2 who do not need dialysis. New recommendations for gestational diabetes screening should continue into the second trimester, says the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force. They say screening for gestational diabetes improves both maternal and infant health and treatment. Gestational diabetes is estimated to occur in up to 9% of all pregnant women, but might be up to 3 times as high depending on the diagnostic criteria used, say these researchers. The task force recommends clinicians screen for gestational diabetes between 24 and 28 weeks using a two-step approach of both a screening tool like an oral glucose challenge test and diagnostic and oral glucose tolerance test, just the tolerance test, or a fasting plasma glucose test. A new way of looking at glucagon, these researchers say they want to administer it as a preventive. Writing in the Journal of the American Chemical Society, they say they have developed hydrogels that remain intact in the presence of glucose but slowly destabilize as levels drop, releasing glucagon into the system, safely raising blood sugar. Now, this is really very early on. It hasn't been tested in people. The early challenges so far have been keeping the hydrogel stable and keeping the glucagon from leaking out of the water-like structure, but they say they've got it, and they are moving on to further studies. A lot more to come, but first I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors who helps make Diabetes Connections possible, and that is Real Good Foods, where the mission is be real good. They make nutritious foods, grain-free, high in protein, never added sugar, and from real ingredients. We are big fans of the pizza. Benny puts his in a frying pan. I prefer the air fryer. They keep adding to the menu line with breakfasts, waffles and breakfast sandwiches, and also great meals made with cauliflower or stuffed chicken. You can buy online or find a store near you with their locator right on the website. I'll put a link in the Facebook comments and, as always, at diabetes-connections.com. Back to the news now. And is this the new okra or is it something that might actually work? Looking at camel's milk to help lower blood glucose. Camel's milk supposedly has many of the sought after bioactive properties of what they call superfoods. It is said to help with insulin resistance and glycemic control. There's a clinical trial going on right now in Abu Dhabi looking to see if that is folklore or the real deal. One study they point to is in a camel breeding community in North India, which found that those who regularly consumed camel milk had a 0% 10% rate of diabetes. Quick warning here, Camel Milk, if you can get it, is very expensive. You are warned to avoid it in raw form. The Association of Diabetes Care and Education Specialists annual conference starts this week. The theme is Changing Forward. It was designed to highlight patient care that moves away from what organizers call an institutional, task oriented approach. They want to push for more individualized care that reflects the diversity of people with diabetes. It is a virtual conference. Of course, we'll have an update next week from any sessions or reports that are of interest. That's it for In the News this week. If you like it, please share it. Quick housekeeping note and a thank you before I let you go. I have something called the Book to Clinic program, where I'm able to supply pediatric endocrinology offices and clinics with my book, The World's Worst Diabetes Mom. I'm thrilled, I'm flattered that educators and endos think this is of value to families. And I wanted to say a thank you to our Book to Clinic sponsor, our newest one, Diabetes. Their mission is to raise diabetes awareness through modern, cute, humorous, and fun teas. 10% of their profits go to JDRF. It's really reasonable to become a book to clinic sponsor. I am not trying to make a lot of money here. I just can't pay for all the books myself to get them to the clinics that want them. We do have a list. If you are interested, please let me know if you'd like to sponsor. Like I said, it's really reasonable. If you're a clinic who wants books, reach out and I will put you on the list. Please join me wherever you get your podcasts for our next episode on Tuesday. You're going to hear from my son and get his thoughts on what it was like to spend 1 month overseas with a youth program not focused on type 1. He is 16. You bet I am happy he is home, but we both learned an awful lot. And that is coming up on Tuesday. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you back here soon.